Okay, so today I was working on two projects. One was this model. I just wanted to see how a model like this would be put together. So this is a positive electrode and these are negative electrodes. And I designed this to come apart by a screw. There's a single screw inside, which is the electrode, the positive electrode. And none of the negative electrodes are glued inside, because I ended up taking this apart like 2 different times to figure out exactly how I wanted the test model to go, and I ended up not having this to be the test model because I'll show you in a minute. So this is the upper half. It's got this plate in here to help absorb some of the free electrons running around inside the top area of the positive electrode. And then there is this coupling. And this coupling is I can't remember the type of plastic this is, but this fitting and this fitting fit right against each other. This is the positive electrode inside here, and the positive electrode goes up into here. Then inside there's this screw, and that's the screw that leads into this. So the positive electrode is directly connected to that. These are the negative electrodes. They're not connected to anything right now. Mainly this is a kind of a model to show me how some object like this would be put together in the first place. Just keep on screwing it until it's together. Well, that's what the example model looks like. And this is the test model. You can see how the negative electrodes are in here. There is a plastic tube around some wires that go onto the negative electrodes, and a high voltage wire lead to the positive electrode. Still the same type of design. Positive electrodes on top, and these are negative electrodes. This is 6 centimeters or so, 60 millimeters or whatever. Well, 60,000 volts is what it would take to light this thing up, and that's what this is going to be. I'm going to have all these wires connected right next to each other, and then in a circular pattern. So by spinning a little like a relay thing where it connects all the wires, by spinning that around in circles, it will connect whichever negative I want on. And so the idea is that the electricity will connect here, then connect here, then connect here, then connect here, then connect here, and so on, kind of like a clock. It'll just go around and around and around. That's the idea for this test model. But for the main thing is I ended up at the end of the day, I ended up thinking about sound waves, and I was thinking about how the sound waves actually function in the first place, because it's kind of weird. It's like they're floating. So how they're floating is another way to fly an object. So I was thinking about that too. So you have the sound waves in this idea. The sound waves are coming down. The sound waves could be going down and up at the same time, but in this case the sound waves are just going down and bouncing off and going back up. So as the sound waves go down, bounce, and then come back up, you'll see these waves, and that's where the objects get stuck. They get stuck in between these little eyes, and those eyes are the key. So why do the eyes function? So instead of looking at the eyes and thinking, well, there's some kind of force going on there, I decided to look right against the waves. So if you look at that and you think about, as this wave goes down, this little diamond shape will go outward. So that diamond shape, as this wave moves down and this wave moves up, this diamond shape will actually keep moving down this gap. So that means that the air pressure is actually being pushed out. And if you look at those irises, those little eyes will actually open up, and then become that diamond shape and keep moving out. So those eyes are actually a vacuum. So the actual pressure that is pushing on the object stuck in the sound waves it's actually air pressure pushing in on it. So the strongest part of the sound waves is directly in the middle down this line, and then the outside pressure isn't the outside pressure the sound waves isn't so strong on the outside pressure. So that's the outside pressure pushing in on the objects caught in the sound waves, which actually creates buoyancy. So maybe thinking of using other ideas, maybe seeing like if you have a spherical shape here, and then you have a spherical shape up here, and then you have sound waves. Then you think about this sound wave coming out like this, and then you have this sound wave coming out like this. Now, in this case, you can also see that these pressure waves are also pushing out. So is this usable? Is this like, does this mean that this area is going to be in a vacuum? Will this become a lighter object having two spherical things right next to each other like that? Would that work? That was the thought. So maybe that will be another project for me, to have two objects like this just oscillating against each other, like two plates just collapsing and opening, creating these sound waves which create a vacuum or whatever. So it's lighter because there's a vacuum, and then when the air comes rushing back in, does that mean it's going to become heavier again? Is that going to make it not so buoyant? I don't know. I think there is a maximum vacuum. I know that. There is not a such thing as a maximum pressure, but there is a maximum speed. So maybe a sound wave machine like this would become lighter because there's a maximum speed and a maximum vacuum. So that means that an object oscillating at a certain speed would become lighter in theory. Well, that's that for today. All right.